And welcome. Good morning, everyone, to the pregame cheat sheet. I'm Darren Smith, along with my sidekick, my co-host, the one and only Mr. Steve Wall. Steve, this is an oft-used phrase of a must-win game, but finally Patrick Mahomes has owned up to it. And today's game against the Indianapolis Colts, who were number one at one time in the conference, now they're number two, coming to Arrowhead, noon kickoff. He said this is a must-win game for the Chiefs, who come into this game 5-5. They are 9-2. Your initial thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, man. We've talked about it a lot, being a must-win game, but now it's like you're back against the wall, really, and you've got to figure out a way to get a win, no matter what. You haven't played at home in almost a month,
yeah.
And so you've got to figure it out, and what better way to do it than at Arrowhead?
This is the only game that they play here at Arrowhead this month before, obviously traveling to Dallas for Thanksgiving, and then of course I think the next game is the Sunday night game against the Houston Texans. And we saw what that team looked like on Thursday night. So right now the Chiefs have essentially no more room for error the rest of the season, especially if they want to try to make a postseason run and even get to the playoffs. Because right now, if the playoffs were to start, they would be out on the outside looking in there. I think the ninth seed at the moment.
Texans.
The Texans are above them, and of course the way that they played, if they bring that defense to Kansas City, it could be like that. Essentially. But looking at this matchup today, Chiefs 5-5, Colts 9-2. Colts they're well rested. They of course their last game they played the Miami Dolphins in was it Spain, I think it was, or London. So of course they played them all season. They had the extra week off, so they're well rested coming into Arrowhead today. Give me your initial thoughts on this matchup.
Man, we know that they have a strong running back. We know that quarterback play for the Colts is kind of iffy, and Daniel Jones. So I think you've got to make Daniel Jones beat you. I feel like if I'm Steve Spagnuolo, I'm taking kind of a mixture of how we played defensively against
Detroit,
the Eagles,
Okay.
against the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, and then a mixture of how you play against Detroit and kind of mix them together and pull some of the things. If you remember when they were going against Derrick Henry, all these top running backs, you got to mix a little bit of all of it in and try to make Daniel Jones beat you.
I guess, thinking about this, he obviously caused the biggest challenge because he can beat you on the ground and as a pass catcher. Jonathan Taylor, he leads the league in rushing. I believe he leads the league in touchdowns as well, between either he and Gibbs. So, I mean, it's either said and done. It's either said and done to say, force him to beat you, force Daniel Jones to beat you. But he's been able to do that. I mean, they are the league leading team when it comes to offense and yardage and points. That they score. So, what's the biggest challenge though for Spags? Because again, if you focus so much on Jonathan Taylor, and I agree with you, that's what I would do. I would try to take him out and force Jones to beat you. But the Chiefs have had problems, guarding the tight end this season, and essentially, they haven't really utilized, to my knowledge, Michael Pittman and some of the other wide receivers that they have to their credit. I think Tyler Warren could be a big issue if they're not careful. And of course, now I'm not saying they got the triplets with Josh Downs and Alec Pierce, but they have been putting numbers up on the board this season.
Yeah, and look, if somebody else is going to beat you, it's kind of like I always you take a basketball analogy, like take away the best player. Even if you got to do a boxing one, make somebody else beat you. If they beat you, then you were going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So if Daniel Jones is going to beat you, then that makes this Colts team a well-rounded team. And I don't think they're that. Look, this Chiefs has lost a lot of one-score games, majority one-score games.
I think the whole 5 this season.
This season, yeah. And so that's uncharted territory. That's very unlikely for them. If I'm on a blackjack table and I'm playing that, I'm like, no, one score, no, that wouldn't be on my bingo card. So I'm like, even in the back of my mind, and even in Chiefs fans, when you get down to the wire, it's been Mahomes' magic for the past few years. So now when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, well, it could have, and so it could go either way. But I don't think they're going to continue that. And I feel like this Colts team isn't what people think that they are. I just don't. You understand?
Do you think their success is more so because of their schedule, because they're not playing the first place?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I think people are just now. Don't get me wrong. Their running
record
back
says
is
what you
good.
are,
Yeah, their running back is good, but I just
running
don't
back
think
is
that
great.
I just don't feel like they are what they say they are.
Steve Walls, Darren Smith, we're live inside the Arrowhead Stadium press box. Kickoff is under about 20 minutes away as we get you set, ready for it. Of course, you can watch the game on your local CBS stations here in Kansas City, KCTV5. Steve, I want to ask you this. So we saw this week where some people say that, Andy threw Patrick under the bus and vice versa when it comes to the quote-unquote play calling or some of the stuff. I was kind of ear hustling Dana and Hughes, and he kind of echoed what I've been talking about lately about the Chiefs run the ball a little bit more. And Andy has mentioned that from seemingly the last couple of weeks. But what's the biggest hindrance to this Chiefs offense over the last couple of weeks that has kept them from from being 7-3, but essentially 5-5?
Shooting themselves in the foot, man. I really don't think teams really beat up on this Chiefs team. I just think that you look at when they went down and played against the Chargers in Brazil, how many penalties did they have, right? And then you think about when they played against Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, they were up, they spotted this defense 14 points. And then they just kind of, one thing led to another and it spiraled out of control. So, I mean, a lot of these games, majority of these games, if I'm looking across the games that they've lost, they beat themselves. None of these teams really just flat out just beat them.
Most of it, I think, comes from like you said, beating themselves is due to penalties. I mean, you look at last week's game, and I give I give Andy and Matt a little bit of grace last week because they're not the ones out there either line up offsides, false starting, or getting penalties. So if you want to run the football, you really can't, because instead of you being first and 10, a holding penalty on the offense or false start, you're back 5 yards, you're back 10 yards. Now you kind of got to run the football.
What was it? It was 5 penalties with 3 players. Juju had 2. Josh Simmons had 2, and then Jawan Taylor had 1. So that's 5 penalties and 3 players. You can't have that. Juju had 2 penalties on the same thing, same holding call.
Yeah, and because of that, again, you don't really get it. You don't get a good flow. You don't get a good rhythm of things to come.
And I think Josh Simmons his penalties were just rust. And you get 1 offsides penalty, then you get 1. I think it was a holding penalty. So I think his was just kind of rust.
And for the most part, he played well in his return,
considering who they were playing.
Yeah. Defensively for the Colts, I mean, they nothing really stands out about them how they do defensively. But where do you see the Chiefs' strongest outlook to be able to put points on the board at?
Man, you got to be able to hit the long ball. If you're gonna throw it,
how I feel about that.
You gotta be able to hit the long ball. I know chicks dig it, but you gotta be able to hit it if you're gonna throw it. And Patrick, he's owned up to it. He said it was, because I asked him after the game last week, I'm like, is it timing or what is it? He's like, wow, it's just me. I gotta hit it. I've gotta make the throw. And so,
hold on. Thank you, Steve, for that. Making me feel crazy, because every time I say it in the accuracy, people want to argue with me. But
but here's another thing: you can't expect Xavier Worthy. You can't expect Hollywood Brown, and even I would throw Rashee Rice in that category of trying to go up and get a jump ball with a one-on-one. Like that, at least for Xavier and Hollywood, that's not their strength.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like that's their strength. You're not throwing a jump ball to a guy that's 5'5". It just doesn't matter. The math ain't mathing for me. So with that being said, I just feel like you've got to figure out some other ways to, if you're going to throw the long ball. I mean, Taekwon, you can throw a jump ball to him, and Juju, I feel like you could, but I just think if you're going to throw the long ball, don't rely on it so much, because I mean they throw it until like, dang, one's got to land.
One of the things that I hope that they do is I hope they start to shorten their rotation. I know we kind of talked about it where they have, last week Patrick threw to 10 different receivers. I think they need to kind of shorten it down, because you got to get your players in the rhythm, and just them going in and out. And I get it, you're trying to keep players fresh, but sometimes you just got to go with what's in there to try to try to make ends meet.
Yeah, I read something where it could be a problem where they have too many guys.
That's what, yeah, that's
Like,
what it is. Yeah.
it's just they have too many options, and you can't focus on just one. You're like, oh well, I got to get there, I got to do this, I got to do that. So
everybody got to eat.
Yeah.
That's the flip side of that.
Yeah.
Let's get to our X factors for today's game. Offensively, who you starting with?
Mahomes, this is his team. It's his team. Whether Andy calls whatever play, whether Matt Nagy calls whatever it is, it's Patrick Mahomes' team. It's his offense. It's his show. He's got to show up. They're going to go as he goes. If it takes you not doing an RPO, if it takes you, stepping up in the box, making a long throw, if it takes you having to use your legs, whatever it takes to win, you've got to get out of this ball game with a win, and it starts with him.
See, you get me upset because sometimes I feel like we got the same X factor. So I'm not gonna go with Patrick, even though I wanted to. I'm gonna go with Andy because. And I see Andy because it's not even come with the play call is that you're at a crossroads right now with this team. They haven't been 5-5 this late into a season
ever,
in Patrick's tenure here. The worst they've been was 3-4. You might potentially go 5-6, and you're going to be questioning yourselves at the end of the season, especially if you don't make the playoffs. So what went wrong? What happened? And some of it may come back to your coaching philosophy. I keep saying that. I think that they're always trying to go out and get Patrick the MVP every single game instead of just sometimes doing less with more is the key. So for me, this is going to be an Andy Reid game to where, again, if you lose, going to be some questions that have to get answered. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree 100%.
X factor for you on defense.
I would say I'm gonna go with the defensive line because you've got to give. First of all, you got to stop the run, and then second of all, you got to win it in the trenches. And if the game plan is to make Daniel Jones beat you, give your cornerbacks some time. Get after Daniel Jones, make him do some uncharacteristic things, which is hard to do from what I've seen and what we know about Daniel Jones. So I'm just gonna go to our defensive line.
See, now I have to one up you.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go with Spags on this one. And hear me out. The reason why is, we heard Chris Jones after the game talk about how, they knew what their play was at 3rd and 15 or whatever. Now, I don't know if that was a shot at Spags or just good coaching on the other end.
Yeah.
But to your point, if you're Spags, this is the top scoring offensive team in the league. So I say the pressure is on you because you got to figure out a way, like you just said, you got to slow down or stop Jonathan Taylor and force Daniel Jones to beat you.
Yeah.
And if you're able to stop the run, or at least contain it, what are you doing? To force Daniel Jones to create, because again, the one thing the Chiefs haven't done a lot is force turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, we put it on. I guess I got to go with the people who are making the calls.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, prediction for today's game.
I got the Chiefs. My thing is, if you can get out early and take away the run game, if you can get out early and take away the run game, I feel like you'll do fairly well. So I got the Chiefs 27-24. 27-21. Sorry.
I've got the Chiefs in this game. I don't know if Rob Parker's watching, but not to be a homer, but this is a must-win game. I mean, if they don't win, I can't see a path, even if they were to win out at 11-6. I still don't think that's enough to get them into the playoffs. It could be. I could be wrong. The math is the math, but to me, they have to win this game. I've got them winning 27-20. The reason why I got it because the two games that the Colts have lost have both been 27-20. So that's what I'm. And the other thing is, what they have to do, they have to make sure that it doesn't come down to Harrison Butker extra point or field goal, man. Because somehow, some way, when he misses it has. I mean, we saw last week, blocked, and then instead of being up 4, where Denver has to score a touchdown, all they had to do was kick a field goal to win the game. So not likely. So before we get out of here, Steve, one last thing, bonus question for you: how do you think Nephew is going to do today against the Raiders?
Who?
Come on, man. Wrist up, baby. Come on. Should do it now. Come on. What should you think?
Should do it. Man, I think he'll do fairly well. I mean, he's got a lot of people pulling for him. I think that kind of hurt him a little bit. I think the people that are the outside noise kind of hurt him as far as people expecting him expecting more, expecting him to go out there and be great instead of letting him build and get better. But I think he'll do fairly well. If I'm he's got to throw for a touchdown, no picks, and they've got to win.
Couldn't say any better myself.
Yeah.
I want to thank the sponsors.
Yeah, I want to appreciate my friends over at Dillard's on the Rosa, especially my guy Herman Brown. Go out there and holler at him, check him out. He'll take care of you in the men's department. Also, my friends over at Rysam and Nissan. Thank you to everyone who came out yesterday to help us support the Derek Thomas and Neil Smith Third and Long Foundation, their 35th annual turkey drive. We turkey giveaway. We collected a lot of food. We were able to fill up a Nissan Armada yesterday, and thank you to everyone who came out and hung out with us.
All right, shout out to everyone who did come out and help Mr. Walls and the crew yesterday. And make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 6:30, 7:30. Myself, Steve Walls, Sean Tyler, and DJ Q for the Red Hour. Watch it on the social media platforms. 6:30, 7:30. Of course, we'll recap today's game. We'll preview Thursday's Thanksgiving game and get you ready for that as well. And I also want to thank Todd White and Todd's Closers and Taylor Seuss for keeping me nice and sharp. And of course, Gates Barbecue. If you hadn't already stopped by there, got to try it. I keep telling Steven, you better stop by there too. Get you some Bernie fries. So I'm going after the games. You might catch up with me, but go by any of the 5 locations. If you stop by the one over by the stadium off of 40 Highway, tell Colin I sent you. He'll take care of you. And we will be back post game. Steve Walls and myself will bring you Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes at the podium, as well as post-game interviews and stuff like that. And we'll wrap up today's game afterwards. So kickoff is about 10 minutes away. Thank you so very much for joining myself and Steve Walls. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Red Hour. Peace.